Hey everybody, Steve DeCasa here. What's going on? Got another filmmaking tutorial for you. If you've seen, recently I put up a music video where I am shooting a live performance, a guy playing guitar, and he's walking down a street and the camera's really smooth going in front of him as I'm walking backwards. And coming up soon, I'm going to be editing my new reel together for the month of December. My old reel is from March. And I have a lot more new stuff and a lot of stuff with this guy right here. This is the Glidecam HD 2000. Let me show you how it looks, not in this contraption here. This is the device right here. This is a camera stabilizer. Basically, it's like a gyroscopic camera stabilizer. So when you move, it's all counterbalanced and weighted properly so that the camera has no shakiness. So you get rid of that handheld thing. And it looks like the camera is on a dolly or something along those terms, but it's handheld. So you're holding it something handheld and you have a very smooth shot. That's why it's called the Glidecam. Now they sell devices to hold these things while you balance them, but I just have a contraption here made out of a stand I have, a grip head, a stud, and a super clamp. Because I like to balance it while it's, otherwise you need someone holding it for you while you balance it, or you need to buy a like $100 contraption that they sell to balance it with. But I just use stuff that I have, some clamps and things, to provide just to provide something to hold it while I can balance it. So there you go. So there it is in there. Now, since I am recording this with my 5D and I'm going to have to balance it with the 5D, I don't have a second camera at the moment. I'm going to end up using my iPhone once again. And so we'll get to that in a minute. But I just wanted to show you the basic parts of the Glidecam. Everything comes apart, but I don't want to take it apart. But I want to show you some customizations that I like to use because it just makes it a little bit more easy. This is the base where the weights come out back and forth. I hope I didn't screw that up. I probably should have looked at how that was, but we're going to be balancing it anyway, so I'll figure it out. Then you have the telescoping center piece like this. And then you have the quick release plate up top here, which is the kind of the cheese plate right here. But what I've done is, and what's pretty common, is to get another really like a quick release plate and attach it to the cheese plate. What I've also done is I put a little stud in here. It's just a little, it's these little studs with the proper, you have the 1/4 inch and the 3/8 nuts. You can get them at B&H. They're just little studs with screws and things. I have a lot of them because I make a lot of contraptions. But I threw a stud in there to kind of lift it up off the cheese plate so that I can turn the knob easier. I also took the spring out, so if you turn it too far and you can't go anymore, if it gets stuck, what you can do is you can pull it out, turn it, and now the knob is moving free and not actually tightening or loosening the nut here. And then when you push it back in, it rethreads and you can then tighten it and loosen it. But what I've done is there's usually a spring in here, so you have to pull it and it'll automatically snap back. I disassembled it, I took the spring out, and I put a little piece of gaff tape here to just sort of hold it as it goes in and out. Just because I'm anal, I find it a lot easier to be, without the spring, it's a lot easier to turn it around. With the spring, you're always fighting the spring and it's always popping back in and it's kind of a pain in the ass. So I like to just take the spring out. So basically how it works is you buy the Glidecam HD 2000. It's a smaller one. They have a 1000, which is for cameras around 1 to 3 pounds, the 2000, which is around 3 to 6 pounds. And I don't know if there's a 3000, but I know there's a 4000, which is like 6 to 10 pounds. The 5D and the lens that I use is around 3 to 6 pounds. So I have the Glidecam HD 2000. Oh, I forgot to mention also on the bottom here, you have maybe make a little edit. on the bottom here, you have counterweights that have gotten really dusty over time. So you get a bunch of these. I think you get something like 8 of them. And basically, when you figure out your rig, what you're going to put on top, you customize and you have to figure out how many weights you're going to need. So actually, you know what? I'll take off one on either side, or maybe I'll take them both off. I have 3 on either side because my lens is a bit heavy. The screws are going to fall. Anyway, I'll take the weights. Well, I'll leave one on for now, just for shits and giggles. But I'll leave one on for now. And when we balance it, I'll show you how these weights come in handy. So right now, I'm going to put the 5D on the rig, and I'm going to switch to my iPhone. So the quality is going to diminish a little bit, but you're going to get to see how to balance the rig with a DSLR. And here we go. All right, so here we are. I have the 5D. I have a tripod plate. Now on the bottom of the tripod plate, I don't know if you can see it, I just have some gaff tape set up. So with some lines, it's a little anal and kind of redundant, but it's just so the plate, this quick release plate, sometimes it twists or whatever. So I have some tape on the 5D and I have some tape on the quick release plate itself with lines, and I have it all set up so that I know exactly where to put the quick release plate. So if it does twist or does move out of the way, I can always realign it and I know I'll be exactly set up. Now before I put it on, let me also mention that this quick release plate, they're hard to find. They're hard to search for. Like what quick release plate, search plate, I don't know, it's hard to find. But I can tell you that this is Manfrotto, M-A-N-F-R-O-T-T-O. It's just called the Manfrotto 577 plate. And what's really cool about this plate is that the sticks that I have, the tripod that I have, it takes the same plate just on its own. So I literally can come right off the Glidecam and pop it right onto my sticks, and boom, I'm good to go. I don't need to switch plates or anything like that. So it's very convenient, especially if I'm shooting a live event like a wedding. I can, boom, be back and forth, super easy, super quick. You try to figure out where like the middle of the camera is or where the center of gravity is. And you just sort of, you know, I figured there was about good. You know, you might want to experiment. That's why there's all these holes on the cheese plate. So you can go forward, back, and that's about it. I mean, I got a little screw holding the stud in, and then the stud has a screw on the top, spins right in. I tightened the quick release plate on the stud, and then unscrewed the screw on the bottom so I can spin it so that the quick release plate is spinning and going the right direction. You'll notice on the cheese plate of the Glidecam, it has these little notches. They kind of make an arrow, and that's where the lens needs to go. So this is kind of notching out, going up, and this is kind of like the end of a arrow, of a, you know, bow and arrow. Kind of looks like that. So that's how you know where to go. When you get one of these, they come with instruction manuals about how to do this, but I'm just showing you my tips and techniques to make it a little bit easier. The manual of the Glidecam wants you to put the camera right onto this quick release plate. It's just not very easy to have this big honking thing on your camera, especially if you want to pull it off right away and get to your sticks. Yeah. So here we go. I'm going to mount it. I like to make it so that the quick release plate is flush. The actual plate on the camera is flush with the actual plate here. And I'm going to tighten it, and you can see it's very easy. Nice and tight. Now, I took some weights off the bottom. Usually there's 3, but you got to figure this out. You don't really know. You might have a different lens. There are different techniques for Glidecam. Right now, I'm at wide. This is a 24 to 105 lens. I'm at the widest it's going to be. If I wanted to do at 50 millimeters on this lens, I would have to rebalance the whole thing again, because that one little change of weight of the lens moving forward will throw the balance off. So if you're going to change focal length on a zoom lens, you're going to have to change your balance, and I can show you that. But think about what you're going to be using this for. I like to use it around 50 millimeters to get a nice medium shot, but sometimes you want very wide to get a shot of a room or just to get a full body shot. So let's just go wide for now. I'm all the way zoomed out at 24. Now, without the counterweights on the bottom, this is dangerous, but you're gonna see it's gonna flip over. So it's very top heavy. So just by having the thing secured on my, my stand here, which is actually getting a little wonka-rific. Let me fix this a bit. Okay, nice and tight on there. You can see that it's very top heavy and it's going down. Now the trick to balancing the weight this way, the trick to it is there's a test of like your drop time. So what you want to do is you want to hold the Glidecam horizontal, parallel to the floor, and then when you let go, it should correct itself, and it should take about 3 seconds. Some people say 2. I like a nice slow correct. I find that when it's nice and slow, it's balanced beautifully, and you won't have a lot of wobbling when you're doing the Glidecam. Now, the way I hold the Glidecam is I hold it with this hand, and I have these 2 fingers on the top and bottom of the gimbal here, and I have my thumb on the gimbal itself for panning and tilting. That's a little advanced. Glidecam is not for something that... the Glidecam is something that you have to practice at. Not anyone can just pick up a Glidecam and go, and you're going to have amazing shots. I've been using the Glidecam for maybe about a year and a half. I probably logged about, I don't know, 80 hours on it, maybe total. I've used it on short films, on weddings. Every single wedding, we pretty much use it. So I've got a lot of practice with it, balancing it and using it. Balancing it, this is your initial balance. You do it one time. Everything else from then on should just be pretty easy. But using it takes a lot of practice. A certain way you have to walk, a certain way you got to hold your arm. But I guess I can do another tutorial about that. But right now, we're just doing the initial balance. So as you can see, it's very top heavy. So I'm going to add weights on the bottom. All right, so I've added 1 counterweight on either side, and we're going to take a look at our drop time. Well, we're going the wrong way, so we're still not there. Now, another thing you can check is, what's funny about the Glidecam is when you release the telescoping pole, it can come out, so you got to be careful. You can release it all the way. I find it's a little bit bulkier now. I like to keep it higher, as high as I can. But you can do this, and you can see that it's going the right way. So that's good, but it's still pretty fast. So it's like 1/1000, 2 second and a quarter. So we're still not there yet. And you can see if we put it all the way up, we're going the wrong way. So I'm gonna make another edit. I'm gonna put 2 more counterweights on either side. Just realized my backlight wasn't on. Now it's on. I set it up, might as well use it. Okay, so I have now 1 more counterweight added here and 1 more counterweight added here. Let's take a look at our drop time. 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000. I like it. Now, just to show you what it's like when we put this down, now that we have more counterweight. So let's look at our drop time. Very fast. 1/1000, not even a second. So let's put it back up. Now let's go. I'm going to go all the way. See what happens here. 1/1000, 2/1000, 3/1000, 4/1000, 5. Not really making it. So all the way is not really there. So we'll keep inching it down. 1/1000. Let's try it again. Let's go this way. 1/1000, 2/1000. That's 2 seconds. So somewhere in between there. It can be a matter of millimeters, really. One 1,000, 2 1,000. Let's try one more time. 1 1,000, 2 1,000. About 2 seconds. Let's see if I can get it nice 3-second drop. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. That I like, that I like. Now you can see as we drop it, it's starting to twist a little bit. I like to try and fix that by, it's going to be hard just the way I'm standing here. I like to try and fix that by holding it against my chest so I don't go back and forward. It's going to be hard to do. I have to move this a little bit. So I like to hold it against my chest so I don't go back and forward, and I just like to spin a little bit and tighten again. So what I did is I'm spinning the actual base because it does spin around, and then we'll check it again. 1, 1,000. See, now it's spinning way too much, so let's go back the way I came. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3. Better, better. So as you can see, this is a very slow process. You just got to take your time with the initial setup. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. That's good. I could make it a little bit crazier. But as you can see, well, I don't know if you can see, but the lens is facing one way. The base is not necessarily exactly parallel with the lens. There's lots of different factors. There's a memory card in the side here. There's the little knob here that might be pulling it this way. So any little factor can really throw this off. So the base does not necessarily have to be to your eye exactly straight with the lens. You might be a little bit off. So once again, let me see. You can, yeah, it's a bit off. It's maybe like 5 degrees off. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000. I think that drop time was good. Not too much spin. I could really dial it in and make the spin completely gone, but to save some time, we'll just keep going. So now after you get your drop time dead on, you want to adjust 2 different things. You want to adjust the vertical stabilization and the horizontal, or I guess left and right and forward and back. I guess we can call it that because we're in 3 dimensions here. So like I was saying before, the way I hold the Glidecam is this way. So let me spin it a little bit. Or I could just spin this guy down here. So the way I hold it is with my right hand and with my left hand like this. So I'm always going to be oriented this way. I'm never going to hold it like this or backwards. I always keep the handle at 3 o'clock. So this would be 12, 1, 2. It's always at 3, right angle. That's how I always hold it. So with that orientation in mind, I now have forward, back, and side to side this way. Now, if you notice on the Glidecam, there's 2 knobs. One on the side here. There's actually a bunch of knobs, but the one in the middle is the one I'm talking about, and one in the back. The one in the back here, if you look inside, there's a metal plate. Who knows how much, a few grams the metal plate is, but it's so precise that when you turn this screw, it moves a little metal plate forward and backwards inside the release plate. That little bit of movement of that little light piece of metal will affect the balance. And on this side here, there's a metal plate inside that moves side to side. Basically, a little screw is just, you turn the screw and the metal moves this way and that way. So that's what you do. So the first thing I like to do is I like to find my left and right. And you can see it's tilting a little bit this way. You can see that, right? So we're going to turn that knob. I'm not really too sure which way you turn it, honestly. I think you turn it counterclockwise, the plate moves this way. I don't know. You'll figure it out. It's not rocket science. But you can see it's pretty much good this way. And I actually got lucky. I'm not tipping too far forward or back, but just to show you what it would look like. So there we go. I'm moving too far backwards. Now, if the plate is, if you manage to get the spinny plate all the way down, you can always move the sleds on the bottom here. These unscrew and these go forward and back. So you can max out the plate here and then bring this all the way down and then bring that plate back so that you have some playroom. You never want to spin these so that they end. You want to always, these are the guys that you want to be able to fine tune. So if you max out on one of these, bring your plate down. If you max out on the left and right, you might want to think about moving your camera off the hole it's on and over one or over the other way. because like I said, you never want to hit the end on these knobs. You want to be able to always move, because any little thing will mess it up. So once again, let's fix this. Oh, that was the wrong way. So I think if you do it clockwise, it's going to move it forward. Or I could be wrong. Let's try it again. All right, let's go this way. See, I get confused. I'm not, I'm not a genius. There we go. There it is. A little bit more. Some people like to balance it so that it's facing slightly down because they like to shoot that way. I like to shoot it straight, parallel to the ground. All right, so I don't know if you can see it this way, but you see how that changed? See, I wanted to show you, but since I'm oriented this way with this, any little change matters. So it's perfect oriented this way, but I wanted to orient it this way, and it's thrown off a little bit. So you have to know how you're going to hold it in order for it to be balanced properly. So I have it this way, the way I would hold it, and it looks like it's not going forward or backwards. Side to side, we want to make a final check. Too much. It's going too much this way. I know you're looking at the back of my head right now. And there it is. So we're balanced side to side, forward and back, and our drop time should still be 1 1,000, 2 1,000, 3 1,000. Awesome. So right now I'm going to take it off of here and give it a quick test and see how it looks. So, got the 5D back on the tripod, and here's the Glidecam, just all balanced and redone. I'm trying to think if I forgot anything. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I can offer to you, but basically, well, I might as well show you how I was, walking. Basically, you gotta walk smooth. You want to walk heel toe, like you're a sniper rifle. Well, not a sniper rifle, but like you're a soldier. And the way I hold it is, I try to keep my arm kind of locked, but not. I'm never putting my elbow into my side. I'm keeping it out. And if there's any kind of bump, I like to have my arm absorb it without going too up and down. I also, it's hard to show you here, but I have my thumb on the gimbal itself and my pointer finger and middle finger on the actual post. And when I make a turn, I very lightly spin it this way. I can stop it, spin it the other way, stop it. It's a very gentle touch. You can tilt it down by adding some pressure with your middle finger by tilting down, or pressure with your pointer finger to tilt up. When it's all counterbalanced, it should do that pretty easily to do some pans. And it just takes a lot of practice. I mean, I could give you a lot of advice and a lot of techniques and things, but it's just going to take trying it for yourself and really practicing, and then watching the footage and seeing what's going on. But you really are only as good as your first balance, or the way it's balanced. If you're not balanced properly, you're going to see a lot of swaying, a lot of this and that. The Glidecam is not a perfect thing. It's not going to give you those amazing Steadicam shots. Steadicam is another brand. It's an industry standard. But Glidecam is more cheap and more for our tier. Glidecam also sells a vest and a spring arm, which is what you see the pros using. It can run a lot of money. This Glidecam was only $450. This quick release was around $70. So for about $500, you can get some really cool stuff. I think it's a great tool. That's why I got it. So try one out. I don't know if you can rent them, but you might be able to borrow one from a friend. Buy it, try it. If you don't like it, maybe return it. I don't know. But try it out. Balance it really good that first time. Take the time. If you're gonna have a shoot and you're like, oh, I just bought the Glidecam. Oh, balance it. Pff, what was that? If you're gonna buy the Glidecam or if you're gonna have a shoot, give yourself a lot of time. Give yourself a whole day to practice, to balance it, experiment with the counterweights, experiment where you want to put this. Spend a whole day really fine-tuning it and customizing it and making it yours. It'll pay off. It'll definitely pay off. So there it is. I'm Steve DeCasa. This was another filmmaking tutorial for the Glidecam. Happy filmmaking and peace.